Hello everyone, and welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, where we serve up fascinating insights on health, one cell at a time. I'm Ethan Foster, the slightly skeptical but always curious observer here, ready to poke around the corners of our everyday assumptions.
And I'm Alara Sky, the quick-witted navigator through all things natural health.
Today we have a show that truly builds from the ground up, or should I say from the womb outward. We're diving into the role of vitamin E in preventing food allergies in newborns. It's almost like we're forging immunity one nutrient at a time.
It's basically a maternal superpower. Forget lifting cars off trapped puppies. Apparently your diet can help shape your child's relationship with peanuts. Not as dramatic, but definitely more practical in daily life.
So, let's talk about what spurred this conversation in the first place. Recent insights point to how vitamin E intake during pregnancy may stabilize immune responses in newborns. Scientists are focusing on alpha-tocopherol. That's alpha-tocopherol for those of us who enjoy polysyllabic words.
Ah yes, polysyllabic words. The sign that big revelations are coming. It's interesting because when most people think of vitamins, they go for the marquee players, like vitamin C or vitamin D. Vitamin E in the background is like the understudy who's ready to jump on stage and deliver an Oscar-worthy performance.
That's a vivid image, but let's keep it grounded. The idea is that vitamin E, especially alpha-tocopherol, can help prevent severe allergic reactions by lowering histamine release. Histamine is that pesky chemical that makes us sneeze, swell, or scratch when something rubs our immune system the wrong way.
Exactly. And in newborns, any help you can give those tiny immune systems is crucial. If vitamin E can keep mast cells, think of them like microscopic confetti cannons, from exploding into an allergy firework show, then that's cause for celebration.
I can just see the t-shirt slogan now. Vitamin E, sparing you from confetti cannon catastrophes. Not sure it'll make it as a bestseller, but it's got a certain ring to it.
I'd buy it. Let's talk about these mast cells for a second. They store and release histamine, so if they're stabilized, that means less histamine wreaking havoc. It's like taking away a toddler's crayons before they can scribble on all your white walls.
That's an accurate image. Less scribbling, less cleaning up, less, oh no, what happened here? In the context of allergies, we're basically talking about fewer sneezes, hives, or even anaphylaxis. Especially important for newborns who can't exactly say, "Mom, I feel a little itchy."
And apparently vitamin E also manages to do this in a targeted way. It doesn't just knock out every immune response the body has, leaving you as vulnerable as a goldfish in a shark tank. It selectively helps reduce the allergic reaction without compromising other defenses.
Which is a huge plus. The last thing a newborn needs is to trade one risk for another. This is a nuanced approach, not an immune system bulldozer. It's more like an immune system traffic cop, waving the allergic reaction to slow down, but still letting beneficial processes through.
I love that analogy. So the main question is, how can we harness that power of vitamin E? Fortunately, there are plenty of ways. One is good old-fashioned dietary intake. Stuff like pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed beef liver, avocados, wild-caught fish, organic leafy greens. These are not random items on a trendy brunch menu. They're loaded with essential nutrients, including vitamin E.
And each of those foods often has more than one benefit. For instance, avocados don't just have vitamin E. They also have healthy fats that help with nutrient absorption. It's like a nutrient party in one green-hued package.
Meanwhile, just imagine if we push that menu idea. Come to Alara's Avocado and Beef Liver Bistro, guaranteed to keep your immune system in check. Not sure how the marketing would go, but the health benefits would be dynamite.
I have a feeling some might skip the beef liver portion, but maybe if you bury it under enough guacamole, they won't notice. Let's zero in on the key concept. During pregnancy, the mother's nutrient intake can have a direct influence on the baby's immune blueprint.
It's wild, right? We're used to hearing, eat well, take your vitamins, but it's more than a gentle suggestion. It can alter how your baby's body decides to respond to what it encounters, especially potential allergens.
Speaking of allergens, the featured study used mice with genetic skin barrier weaknesses. That's basically the same barrier issue humans see in conditions like eczema. Babies with that genetic predisposition are at higher risk for allergies because their skin isn't as good at keeping allergens out.
Certain proteins, peanut proteins for instance, can slip in through the cracks and trigger an immune freakout before the baby ever even tastes peanuts. It's a bit like letting the cat into the house when you're not home, then blaming it for clawing up the furniture.
If you reinforce the baby's immune defenses, it's like securely locking the door. Fewer unwanted visitors, less damage. And that's what vitamin E can do. It stabilizes immune cells, so they don't freak out the moment they sense a potential threat.
But let's not paint vitamin E as an all-purpose superhero that can do no wrong. The study also noted it doesn't shut down all inflammatory signals. It leaves some immune processes intact, like IL-33 or oncostatin M, so it's not about turning the immune system off, but refining its response.
Which is exactly what we want. The immune system's a complicated piece of machinery. We don't want it jumping at shadows, but we also don't want it napping when real invaders show up. Vitamin E is more like a wise mentor telling the immune system, "Hey buddy, maybe not everything you see is out to kill you. Let's shift to some practical ways for future moms and their supportive partners to incorporate vitamin E. We've mentioned some foods already, but it's also worth noting that not all vitamin E supplements are created equal. In fact, alpha-tocopherol is the form that seems to work these wonders.
Look for D-alpha-tocopherol. The D indicates it's from a natural source. The synthetic form usually says DL-alpha-tocopherol. That's the one you might want to put back on the shelf.
Not to be the cynic, but I'm always a little wary of those giant vitamin pills that promise 8,000% of your daily intake. That's like buying 300 gallons of milk just because it's on sale. Your body might not know what to do with such an overload.
Quality matters more than quantity. So focusing on a balanced diet first is best. Supplements can fill in the gap, but they shouldn't be the entire floor plan, so to speak.
Let's also talk environment, because if you're drowning in dust mites or mold, vitamin E can only do so much. If your air purifier is wearing a cape and fighting a losing battle, maybe it's time to lighten its load.
Absolutely. Early exposure to mold or pests can prime a newborn's immune system to be hyperactive, so controlling that environment is key. We talk about external triggers all the time: dust, pet dander, fragrances, and so on. It's not just about peanuts or eggs or wheat.
One question people often ask is, so, do I just keep my newborn away from everything? The answer is more subtle. You do want to keep them away from truly harmful triggers, like mold. But for food allergens, controlled, careful exposure at the right time can actually help them develop tolerance.
If you shroud your child in a germ-proof bubble, you might create a system that panics whenever it does see an allergen. It's a balancing act, like letting kids sample life in moderate amounts.
Speaking of sampling life, part of this entire discussion stems from the reality that food allergies have soared over recent decades. It used to be so rare to see peanut-free zones everywhere. Now they're pretty common.
It's a major concern for parents. You don't want your kid to walk into a birthday party and have to skip the peanut butter frosted cupcake if it can be avoided. If boosting vitamin E intake during pregnancy could help, that's a game changer.
Exactly. Now, I want to circle back to the star of our show, histamine. We talked about how histamine is the culprit behind swelling, itching, and anaphylaxis. In the vitamin E group, histamine levels stayed much lower. That alone is huge. Fewer balloon animal cheeks or worse.
And let's not forget immunoglobulin E, or IgE. That's another big factor. The study found that alpha-tocopherol supplementation can cut IgE levels, which means the immune system is less likely to freak out about something as harmless as peanut protein.
It's amazing how the body invests so much energy into defending itself from basically a legume. The immune system is powerful, but it's not always wise. Thus, vitamin E's role as the teacher.
It's like our immune cells need the right guidance counselor. If left to roam free, they might sign up for every advanced class, pick every possible fight, and end up burned out. With a little direction, focus on real threats, not phantom menaces. The immune system performs better.
And the best part is that vitamin E's approach is targeted. It doesn't just wipe out everything. It's more about refining, modulating, balancing. It's a clear example of how the right nutrients can shape processes at a cellular level.
By the way, can we talk about how they induced allergies in the study? They basically created homemade peanut extract by grinding peanuts in saline solution. Then they stirred it, centrifuged it, and gave it to newborn mice. It's like a very unappetizing peanut smoothie.
It's the kind of kitchen experiment I'd recommend people not try at home. Mommy, can we do a science project with peanuts in a centrifuge? That's a quick way to get grounded, my friend.
In a serious sense, though, it mimics real-life exposure. Peanuts plus an environmental allergen like fungal spores. Because in the real world, allergens tag team. They rarely come at you one at a time. It's more like a group performance.
That's true, and it shows how important it is to consider the cumulative effect of multiple triggers. Babies are often in contact with environmental irritants, dust, mold, certain cleaning chemicals. Adding a problematic food on top of that can overload the system. Vitamin E helps keep that system from tipping into meltdown mode.
Meltdown mode is never fun, for babies or their parents. But let's not just talk doom and gloom. The good news is, we can do something. Moms can incorporate vitamin E-rich foods, reduce environmental allergens, and watch for signs of skin barrier issues. Taking that proactive route can significantly minimize the risk of food allergies.
And there's a lot to be said for paying attention to your baby's skin. Eczema and food allergies often go hand in hand, because allergens sneak in through compromised skin. If you see that your newborn's skin is particularly sensitive or breaks out in rashes, focusing on a strong nutrient foundation, including vitamin E, can be a huge plus.
Choosing gentle, fragrance-free products is important. We might love the smell of lavender or pine in our laundry detergent, but that perfume might be irritating those brand new baby cells.
Indeed. Another piece of wisdom is the strategic introduction of foods. Some studies suggest that introducing allergenic foods earlier, when done carefully, might reduce the chance that the immune system files them under the potential threat category.
It's the difference between a baby's immune system encountering peanuts in a calm environment versus dealing with them while the baby's skin is in a full-blown rash or the home is dusty or moldy. Control the factors you can. The immune system is more tolerant in a stable situation.
Let's also consider something else, the synergy among nutrients. If you're focusing on vitamin E from wholesome foods, you're likely getting other beneficial vitamins and minerals that could further support your body. There's rarely a single hero in health. It's usually a team effort.
You mean there's no single magic bullet for everything? Shocking. Next thing you'll tell me is that kale isn't going to save my entire existence.
Let's just say kale is an excellent ally, but you still want to invite some healthy fats, good proteins, and maybe a little fruit to the party. Don't rely on kale alone for cosmic level health.
Fair enough. But for pregnant women, especially, a nutrient-dense approach is essential. Babies literally feed off your nutritional status, so if you can keep vitamin E levels strong, you give your child an advantage they'll carry forward.
Let's sum it up. Vitamin E intake during pregnancy can reduce the risk of food allergies in newborns by stabilizing immune cells, lowering histamine release, and preserving healthy immune function without total suppression. We get that from foods like pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef liver, and leafy greens.
Meanwhile, keep an eye on your home environment to reduce mold, dust, and other allergens that can prime a baby's immune system for overreaction. Moisturize that baby skin barrier, use gentle soaps, and if you need a supplement, look for high-quality natural alpha-tocopherol. We can't all be scientists, but we can all make small changes in diet and home environment that help our babies develop fewer allergies and greater resilience.
And that's the takeaway from Dr. Mercola's research. It's not about turning ourselves into bubble-dwelling creatures. It's about informed choices that feed into the delicate design of our immune systems. I think we've covered the main points. Anything else to add, Alara?
Just that we should never underestimate the power of well-targeted nutrition. This is one more testament to how deeply our cells respond to the materials we provide. We can set the stage for stronger futures even before a baby takes that first breath.
Indeed. And on that note, we'll wrap up. We appreciate you joining us on Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. For me, Ethan Foster, it's always a pleasure exploring the science and humor behind health.
And for me, Alara Sky, remember, the key to a healthier world might be sitting on your dinner plate or your grocery list. Keep your minds sharp, your diets colorful, and your hearts open to new possibilities.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and may your immune cells remain calm. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.